All right, so you can see that the conversations have already started. If you're tuning in, this is the Game Audio Podcast at Game Audio GDC. It's 2023. I'm Damian Kaspauer. I might even get the introduction thing out of the way, though you'll probably catch a little reprise of it here in a minute. This is a audio community conversation. It's a discussion. It's a interactive journey each day of the Game Developers Conference, where we kind of unpack what happened yesterday and foreshadow, project ourselves into the future of today and try to surface all the cool things that folks are excited to experience. And it's Tuesday, and that means the start of the Audio Summit. Well, stick around because I bet you're going to hear more about that. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope this is compelling for folks out there who can't be on the ground at the conference, but still want to tap into the electricity, the energy of what's happening here. So sit tight, probably pull this into some kind of order here in a minute. Okay, we're going to start this thing because time is of the essence today. It's Tuesday, in case you didn't know. Just wanted to hit people to that, and thanks so much for arriving today. Please come forward, orient yourself around the Eye of Sauron here, which is a 360-degree camera that's live streaming out onto the internet at some kind of magical service they call YouTube, and trying to carry this conversation out to the community who cannot be here on the ground for reasons. So trying to capture some of the excitement here at the Game Developers Conference and share that with the wider community. So if you're not comfortable being on camera, this is the time to say goodbye because it's already happening. Cool. So I'm going to introduce Larissa Okada briefly, and I'm going to come back and let you talk more about and give an introduction to yourself. But I just want to start with kind of a preamble. This is a morning community conversation. It's an open space to talk about what's happening at GDC, and each day of the conference we'll gather here and kind of unpack what happened yesterday, and at some point kind of shift to talking about what's happening today. So again, trying to surface the experiences that you're having, share it with folks, and I find that it's a perfect way to get more out of the conference because I haven't figured out the whole cloning thing yet. I can't be a lot of places at one time, and there's so much happening all the time. So I love hearing from folks about what they've got up to, great conversations, and it's an open space to talk about that. If it's your first time talking, we try to say our name, our pronouns, and how we identify in the game development community. Just let us know where you're coming from and what you're up to. And we'll just try to weave a conversation this morning and find our way together. So thanks again for being here, and thanks, Larissa, for joining me as co-host today. Usually I've got Anton Woldheck, who is the co-founder of the Game Audio Podcast, and he is sequestered in a foreign part of the world and not here this time. And so thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
So good. Tell us a little bit about where you're at, where you've been, and how you got here.
Cool. I've had a lot of different roles in game audio. I've done composing, I've done composer's assistant, I've done music editing, I've done implementation. I'm currently I'm at Bungie as a music editor, and that's my experience.
Perfect. The score for Manifold Garden was an absolute high point from my perspective. Such a cool game and such a great synergy, so I just wanted to put you on the spot with that one because that's a fantastic achievement and a great story. So nice work. So, calling this to order. We have a tradition of doing a thing called the sync clap, okay? And this is like historical from having a bunch of recorders around a table and making sure that we could line it all up later once we hit the desk. So we're gonna try a wild one today. This is gonna be the sync clap wave. Okay? Are you ready for this? I'm gonna pass it off to you. We're gonna go that way until it comes all the way back around. So, y'all ready? Okay, so.
Nice.
Awesome. Okay, so who has something to share about either their path to GDC, how they got here, or what they did yesterday? Because it was Monday, there was stuff happening. Maybe there's something good that people want to talk about. Yeah,
I'm done. Okay, so it was really funny because I'm actually coming to GDC from Poland. Matvey. Oh, right. Matvey, him. This is my first time here.
Great.
So I'm very excited and very puzzled. Yes, this is just like so wild in like so many ways. But I'm coming here from Poland where my school, I was very fortunate to get my school to pay for it. And so the reason I went to Poland was so I could save on the tickets here. So it's like, it was really interesting to be coming here because the flight was delayed and all of that, and so I got here really, really tired. And then the first thing I had was a lunch with Girls Make Games, which is like the only reason I'm here because they actually provided the access to this place, which is really great. So if you ever want to work with them, I think they're amazing. They are hiring right now. I don't know who is eligible or not, but like it's just such an amazing spot to be involved in. They don't really have like anything in GDC yet, but just putting it out there. And after that, I was, coming from Poland, it was really puzzled, but the one thing I went to that was really awesome was the INSI huddle.
Yeah.
Right? 5:30 to like 6:30-ish. It just went on forever, but the talks there were just like also awesome, and I was just really happy to be there. I think even though it was like a pre-recorded talk and like I heard so much advice like don't go to those, right? If they're gonna be there, but it was just like such an amazing time to just sit there and like be among the audience, because usually when I've been watching those talks, I'd be like seeing some like heads at the very bottom of the screen, and like to just be there and be one of those people just meant so much.
I think you're tapping into the reason I think many of us have arrived here is just that feeling of being part of something. It's a really strong feeling. I can identify with that. Cool stuff. Nice. Thank you. Good to have you here.
Welcome.
Glad you made it. Welcome. Yeah.
So I'm from Seattle, and I haven't been to GDC since 2019. So it's, it was just been a long time coming, and it just, I don't know, it just started off really like out the gate. It seemed like everyone's like, just the energy. Everyone's super excited to be here. And it's kind of felt. I don't know. Then I got to like link up with people who I worked with overseas. Like just remotely, like in person for the first time. And it was like, I don't know, it was cool.
Yeah, meeting people in person for the first time, right? My first GDC was in 2006, and I had been internet friends with a couple of folks. Karsten Royan from Germany and Will Roger, who was in Philadelphia at the time. Wow, like first time meeting in person and just taking on the conference and all of its interactivity with people that I guess we know people, right? Even when we haven't met them in person. So it's people we know.
I would say, I met up with the Manifold Garden team in person for the first time after we shipped the game. We had never had the whole team all together. And we're a super international team. We had someone from Denmark, Norway, Chicago, just all over. And when we got together and played the game, we were like finding a whole bunch of bugs and stuff that we wanted to fix. And it was, I wish we had gotten together before we shipped the game. But expensive.
Yeah. Well, there's something to what you're saying too about like oh, we got together, we found a bunch of bugs and fixed them. You know, we must be coming to a place where we recognize that there are some things that just work better in person, right?
It's like a synergy, kind of like how you felt being in the audience.
Yeah. Okay, capturing that. That's a good insight. Thanks. Yeah. Okay, so name, pronouns, how you identify in the game industry. Who's got some other things to share about their road here or what they did yesterday? Yeah, please.
So, my name is Tyler Burrell. Nice to meet all of you. I'm from Savannah, Georgia. Just graduated from SCAD, and we took a 4-hour road trip to get to Atlanta, and then we did a 4-hour plane trip to Denver, and then we did a 2-hour plane trip to here. So it's been crazy. We just got in yesterday, got my pass and stuff, and walked around the city, met people, and now I'm here. I'm really excited to be here because I just did my first video game score, and that is releasing, I think, this week too with the game. And then I'm here to just meet fellow people like you and, you know, get to know you all. So, yeah, that's it.
Awesome.
What's the game?
Oh, In the Black by Jack Mamias.
Okay.
It's a sci-fi spaceship simulator shoot 'em up. So really cool. It's on Steam. So
Awesome.
Awesome. Cool. Congrats. And was it a bunch of folks from SCAD you
Yeah,
road
actually-
trip with? Or?
yes, 2 other game audio guys who are sleeping right now. I think they're gonna come tomorrow. So and yeah, it was a road trip, so it was fun.
Nice. Nice. I love that. Everything's better with friends, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah, please.
Hi, my name is JDB. I'm from Vancouver, and I work for a game audio outsourcing company called Show in the Pit. I just got offered my permanent position, so I actually didn't know about this. Okay, so I'm here at GDC with a scholarship by Game Devs of Color Expo scholarship, thanks to them. And when I was applying for them, I actually didn't have a permanent position. So I was like, in game mode, I'm gonna network as much as I can, and I'm gonna try to find a job, because I actually studied music. I did a jazz musician for 10 years. And then I was like, at some point, I'm done. I am done with being broke. I don't want to be broke. I want the health benefits. I want some, stable salary. I'm sure like some of us here might relate to it. So anyway, so that was my intention, but then I got the scholarship, and then I was talking about it with my company, and then good things happened, and so now I'm settled, and it actually feels better for me, mental health-wise, to be here and networking with all of you without the intention of please hire me, I swear I'm cool, please talk to me. So it's a really great experience so far, and I'm looking forward to meeting more of you and networking without being vain or I don't know, being desperate. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good perspective to have, and folks' first time at the Game Developers Conference this year. Okay, so a fair share, welcome. Yeah, and your journey will change and ebb and flow over time, right? The first time without a job with all the ambition and those are conversations that I will hold here, and I hope to never have again in some cases. But they're valuable experience to get, and I think no matter at what point you enter the community conversation with people, there's a way that you move through it, and it changes over time. So just wanted to add to what you were saying a bit, because it's an evolution with people. Many of the people in this room over the rest of your career that you'll see and continue to be seen. And yeah, how you show up is a part of that. So yeah, however you show up, as yourself, we will all just find our way through time together. So that's my favorite part. Yes.
Hi, my name is Josie. My brothers are Shuve. just on the topic of new folks here the first time, I had an awesome conversation with this guy Nathan, who was here for his first GDC yesterday. He's really sweet. Hopefully you'll meet him around this weekend. Composer. My background is in composing, mostly for indie games. And I just wanted to make a request of the game audio community here, which is if you're on the intermediate or advanced experience side of things, and you're talking to someone who's pretty new and they're working on their first project, I want to ask y'all to just check in with them about their pricing and how much they're charging their clients, because this is something I've talked a lot about, and David's heard me yap about this for forever, and Scott as well. Yeah, I mean, just like the kind of rate starting out, people just don't know, you know. People will think that $50 for a minute of music is a reasonable amount of money, and then I have to sit with them and be like, hey, what's your hourly when you do the math? And then they're like, oh yeah, wait, that is not enough at all. So just ask people what they're charging, what their hourlies are, and encourage people generally to charge more if you can, because most new people in the industry are just vastly undercharging. So hopefully we can save some people some early bad grades.
Cool, thank you for that. I'll underscore it just a little bit and say it's that openness, right? It's the mentorship that you might have with experience that you could extend to someone, and it's the openness, right? Talking about pricing, talking about tips, tricks, technical insight that you might have gained in your experience. I think there's just a lot going for what you're saying that expands across the community in general. So I really thank you for that ask of people. So
thank you all for having these conversations.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so we're talking about how you got here, things you did yesterday. Did anyone do anything fun yesterday? Like they got out of the conference, they left the downtown area. Did anyone strike out and do something interesting?
I went to Sausalito.
And what was your name?
Juan, sir. Juan Hihim. Yesterday, there was a coincidence, and a friend is moving to Australia, and he's here for yesterday and a little bit today. And he wanted to go to Sausalito, and I never been there, so I went there. Too much to do, just like go and see stuff, but
yeah,
it was fun to do something different in San Francisco. I've been here 3 times, but it's always almost the conference, and I don't have energy to do much more else.
Yeah. So while you had energy before the conference, you decided to do so. And did you walk across the Golden Gate Bridge or take a...
No, we took a ferry.
Oh, the ferry.
Yeah. It was cold, but it was good.
Awesome. Awesome, that's great. Thanks. Other folks struck out? Yeah.
My name is Will Evening. I'm a student from UT Austin. We came out here as the first group our university has ever sent to GDC officially. We have a GDC play group, and we're showing our senior capstone project down there on the expo floor. So yesterday we spent most of our day setting up our booth, making sure everything works, and then we struck out and went to the Syzygy Indie Showcase last night. We got to meet a lot of cool people there, got some pretty good Mexican food from a food truck, and just worked on some personal projects as well.
Nice. And so party report, like, was it loud? Was it quiet? Was
busy.
it...
We got there 10 minutes after it opened, and there was already a line. They were at capacity.
Wow.
I think that's going to be a repeating story throughout the week on occasion. And on that note, like, if the party's full, but you're with some folks, time to make your own party, right? And try to pull people into that orbit and find your own fun, right? Because standing in line is cool. That's, there's probably a lot of other action in town that is worth exploring with people. And it's really comes back to those conversations that you're having. So, yeah. Cool, thank you.
Hi, I'm Bobby. Meet him. This is my first GDC experience. And to kind of add on to the Syzygy indie dev thing, we also went there like later. It was like maybe 10:30 when we showed up there, and the line was around the corner. It was probably like an hour to wait in the line. to like just people in the line while we were waiting, because we were just wanting to go there to talk to different people and network and that sort of thing. So it was kind of interesting, like even if you're waiting in a line, you can like meet so many people just waiting, not just being there with like whoever you came with. So that was kind of cool. There was a neat thing that happened. Somebody we met recognized my name and they sent me a message later. And I had made some Minecraft fan music a long time ago. It's like a folk music about the game for fun, and it was like 15 years ago. And he was like, "You're that guy that made that Minecraft song."
It's a hell of a memory.
It's so weird. And I came here thinking I want to network with people because I freelance full time for the last 2 or 3 years, and if anybody else is a freelancer or is freelancing, it's really kind of a lonely thing when you're doing it remotely, especially. And as much as you can get a read of people like online, it's nice to like see people in person and like, hey, we are all just people with like really cool skills, and so it's nice to like meet people in person who are in the same field and that sort of thing. So, yeah.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, go ahead.
So I can't see that one. So my name's David, or Dave, he, him. This is my first time in San Fran and my first time in GDC. First time for everything. Lots of first times. But yesterday, going on the, I actually went with some friends to Mix, which is like another indie game showcase, and we actually got there late, which was kind of cool because at first it was really filled up at 8, but we got there by like 10. No, we got there by like 9:30 because we went to this. I'm gonna destroy this name. It was this restaurant called Garage. It's like a Mexican restaurant, and they had some great food. So we walked over there, then we walked to the place that Mix was being held at, and we got in there and they're like, "Oh well, you didn't get the email for registration? Well, just sign in right now. It's cool." And it was cool because it was like a concert. It was like they had like a DJ on the second floor, and there was all these games. And it was what was neat was I had played demos of some of the games from Steam Next Fest, but like I saw it's different when you see the developer like standing right there, like, "Oh, that's the guy that made that game," like, and just like going to talk to him and like what was the thought process behind this mechanic? What was that? And so it was kind of cool to see, like, really get inside the head of the person, like see the person behind the game in real time. That was actually really cool. There's so many great games. There's like 20 games. I only got to play 5.
Cool. One of the things about that is, you're talking about the accessibility to creators, accessibility to people, and I'll riff back to what Bobby was saying, like you just have this accessibility to people, right? Whether you're just bumping into them in line or whether you're, at a booth talking with them, and this is it, right? You're engaging them in things that they're passionate about. Like, I feel that. That's real energy between people, and it breaks down a lot of the invisible walls I think we might experience sometimes in a screen-based relationship with people. And it oftentimes feels easy to talk with folks about what they're passionate about. Yeah. Anyone else feeling that? Yeah. Cool.
I just wanted to add to that I've been working with a lot of game dev communities in outside my country and from Colombia. That's where I'm from. And game audio is particularly the most open of the communities that I've been, like in everywhere, like in Europe, in the States, in Colombia. Game audio is people that is sometimes more open than you expect to everyone else, to be heard or to help you when you are under stress or something. Or yeah, we are good at hearing, not only audio, technical audio, but quality audio.
Yeah, totally. Good at hearing. I think maybe that's some of our superpowers, right? For sure. Okay, so we're going to shift the conversation at this point. We're trying to keep it tight because today is the first day of the audio track. It starts with a full day of presentations at the Audio Summit. And with that, we've got to kind of tie this up with a bow by 9 o'clock so that we can get over to the West Hall to get down with some cool presentations. I'll just mention Scott Selfin, who's here as well, and Scott and I co-host and coordinate the presenters for that. Anything you want to say about the long-running legacy of the Audio Summit?
I was going to say, I was trying to count up how many audio summits we've had, and it's going to be a question mark on the slide. It's in the 20s at this point. So we started the Audio Summit because there was no shared language, there was no terminology. There were a lot of people who did audio for games and kind of came together at GDC and were trying to figure out best practices from each other. And so it's really a good introduction to the entire week of content. We try and make sure that we cover all of the different major areas of audio that we can in enough depth and with accessibility so that whether it's you've just shipped your first game or whether you've just shipped your 30th, you will get some good takeaways. So we're really excited to have you all. We go from 9:30 to 6. We have lunchtime surgeries, which is not medical in any way. It is it's a term from the BAFTAs, I think, and it's an opportunity to sit at tables in the round. So we move from classroom-style presentations to lunch, and all of the presenters for the day, each one sits at a table. All of the attendees, anyone who's got an audio pass can come and sit at the tables, have a conversation, and then every 15 to 20 minutes we have the presenters actually switch tables so that we can give you an opportunity to sort of facilitate conversations. But throughout this conference, I'd encourage you to talk with each other. As a few folks said, talk with people who are far outside of your field as well. There's always something that you can learn, but really excited to have the Audio Summit back this year, and hope you can join us. I'm going to go swim over there in about 5 minutes to get everything set up.
Cool. Thanks for getting that started and the introduction to it. If there was going to be one day that you skip lunch behind the carousel and land, indoors maybe on a day that it's raining, today could be a good day for that. So swing by. Otherwise, I will just mention most days lunch behind the carousel when it's not pouring is usually a thing for the audio community. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, with that, when it is pouring, where is it gonna happen? Because I feel like this might not be just for today.
Good question.
Oh, we don't. There's no spot.
Well, I think we'll make it up.
I've never had a rain before.
In San Francisco.
Yeah. Good question. How are folks engaging with the community online while they're here? Are there any folks following the Game Audio GDC hashtag on Twitter? There's the Game Audio GDC Discord. Yep.
Yes, those are
Yeah. So these are places that I'm used to tuning in to kind of catch the vibe on the ground from folks, and so I'm relying on people like, oh, you went to the carousel, it's raining, you're gonna go seek shelter somewhere, and you're pulling everyone with you, where are you going? Send up a flare so that I can find it, right? I'm counting on that kind of thing, and I'll try when I can to do the same, right? Feels like, yeah, we've got each other, that's cool, and we also have these tools that we can use to coordinate on the ground. And for me, a lot of time, despite the hideous arrival of the Bluebird future, it still is a place for people to communicate and engage like that. People are still there. Mastodon is what it is, and I do my best in that world as well. But wow, we got to find each other somehow, and if you can, send up a flare. Wow. So, back to the Audio Summit. Anyone got talks that they're excited to see at the Audio Summit today? Yeah. And what's your name and pronouns, and how do you...
Hello, everybody. My name is John Pascal. I'm with the Interactive Audio Special Interest Group. So we have a Game Audio Trivia Hour tomorrow at 2 p.m. And we're going to be a lot of people there. too, so you can get whatever you want from them. So totally, anybody that's here can 100% go, so there shouldn't be an issue there. So I just wanted to tell everybody about that. And the good thing of it, IASIG, is they have Twitter. They try to keep as many GDC updates as they can. But yeah, if you don't know me, come say hi. I'd love to know you, and we'd love to see you tomorrow.
Is it trivia about like SMod or like?
Sorry, one more time.
What is the trivia about?
So it's some pretty complicated game audio history and some technical stuff. So we did this specifically to show game devs that they don't know everything about game audio. So it was a little bit of a, hey, like, you guys want to see, more of us or what? So yeah, it's going to be, they're not easy questions, but they're not like, they're cool questions.
Like
they're about things
education.
that are cool, fun facts, who wrote what, when, all that stuff. Yeah, so come on out.
Okay, we'll come back tomorrow morning if you can to advocate again, because that's not until the expo opens.
Correct, yeah, I just wanted to give you an answer that as far as today, we have a meet and greet, but that's not as fun. You come meet everybody from IASIG at 3 p.m. Same room, South Hall, room 209. We double check on
That's cool, that's happening today.
Yeah, I'd like what's a cooler thing, I think. But like, just the same, we got some cool guys, Chase and Steve Forrest are here, so if you want to come meet them, they're awesome guys, and we'd love to meet you. That's at 3 p.m. at room 203 South Hall. So is the trivia. But 3 p.m. today, 2 p.m. tomorrow.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, the Interactive Audio Special Interest Group. So that's a cool thing, parallel processing during the Audio Summit and a meet and greet there for folks in the community. So. Other today things happening. Yeah.
I'm Alex, he, him. I actually can't go to this talk because I only have the expo pass, but my friend is giving a talk at 10:50 today. Maisie, I think last name Willard. They're giving a talk about their game Wayward Strand, and it's a really awesome game about a nursing home in the sky and just and helping people and talking with them, and I don't know, it was really calming and lovely to play, so I like to, I guess, say to go to that because they're really amazing. They help me so much, like learn things online, and I'm really looking forward to meeting them later today, so that's another, one of those meetups where I haven't met them in person, but they're like, I consider them almost a close friend in some ways, so yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a great talk, a co-presentation between Maze and Tiffer Newsom talking about dialogue. So kind of, they're taking two paths to it, both the creative direction side of it, but also the depth of exponential paths that the game can take and how they were able to weave that story even when everyone wasn't in the room. So how do you plan for that kind of expansive dialogue tree scenario? So, yeah, thanks. I think that's going to be a good one. Cool. Anyone else stoked for a talk today?
Oh, there is wait, what is it? I think it's 1 to 5, and there's I don't know, game design just sounds cool. I feel like it's so relevant to audio in so many ways because like you're just doing the same thing but sound only. That's kind of like how I feel about it at least. And so there's just so many people like on the event host list. I was like, I have to see it because it's just like, it seems to be like crazy full. And yeah, it's just game design day 2. That's how it's called, and it's from 1 to 7. So because it takes so long. Yeah.
Wow, cool. And with a bunch of presenters, speakers, or it's a panel, or?
I mean, I'm just coming and I didn't actually know anything. But it awesome. just looked really awesome in the schedule.
Cool, yeah.
Hey, James, Meetup, associate sound designer with our first game. Actually, I'm torn between two things, and I kind of would like to sort of advise for people who are used to GDC. Because this afternoon, my boss very kindly has let me use this all access pass to get to some stuff. And there's GDC 101, which looks like it would be a really cool place to meet people from all across the industry and learn how to best use the suite. But then there's also embracing audio technology for enhanced creativity at the same time. I really want to go there. I think that's one of the areas I'm most fascinated by. I cannot make that decision. So actually, I'm asking for help, really.
Interesting. Has anyone ever been to a Game Audio 101 here, or GDC 101?
There was a GDC, sorry. There was a GDC 101 that was a pre-GDC thing that they did. That was sort of this is what to expect. It was like a Zoom call kind of thing. Met a bunch of cool people there. David, for instance. But I mean, if you're already here and you're already kind of doing it, I wouldn't worry about it so much.
Even if you're like a fan of the host because you like this podcast?
Sorry.
Well, that's personal, right? No one can answer that question for you.
If you want to go and meet the guy, that's one thing. But I'd say that you probably know all the information that you need.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yes! Crowdsourcing the answers so that you don't have to think.
Wait, so
Here we are.
what's the embracing sound?
Embracing audio technology to enhance creativity, and it's just looking at all the different technologies. I mean, I'm just reading the blurb. I didn't know.
Okay. I just happen to know that the presenter is here with us, and maybe if you could introduce yourself and maybe tell us about the presentation a bit.
It's going to be fun. We're going to look at the tools we use from a different perspective. So I thought that I'm going to spend most of my career thinking about focusing a lot on the tool I was using. And I think, we're going to compare our process as sound designers, as composers, to a Peggy's one.
Nice.
Let's see how it goes.
You've won me over.
Another magic intersection. Thank you, Paulo, for being here to give us that insight into your talk. Yeah, it's going to be great. Cool. So first one this morning I'll mention are a couple of composers from Riot Games. They're going to be talking about sonic identities. And I've gotten a preview of their presentation. It's pretty fantastic. They're tag teaming it again with this great depth of experience across the different titles, all of the expansions, and how they try to find the unique pieces that can communicate the characters and their identities sonically with both music and sound, and how those things blur and overlap in order to present that in a way that is sticky for people, right? So that it becomes memorable, right? And I think we can, opinion time, fall into a brown and gray orchestral kind of lifestyle sometimes with games, and so I feel like this is really trying to punctuate those opportunities to bring color back into the experience and help set those kind of tones. So.
Those guys are really awesome. They're a very skilled group of folks, and like you're saying, they have a wide array of different styles that they write, and like the means behind, I'm writing for this top-down game versus I'm writing promotional material that's like a pop star group. Like that's really invaluable knowledge. So I would also plus one for them as well.
Nice, and there's a little bit of overlap there with some of the work at Bungie for sure, right? Because you have just thematic, you have characters, you have motifs. Like there's a ton. Is there anything else maybe you want to kick in there?
Well, it's a little bit different. I was referring to like the pop electronic music versus the orchestral stuff.
Sure.
Bungie, we do predominantly orchestral stuff, well, electronic orchestral hybrid stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we definitely have strong thematic material that we all basically.
Yeah, and I know the team there is constantly working together across music, sound, and dialogue to create the story, right?
Yeah.
And so in that process, a few of the folks here, and it's just such a synergistic experience when everyone is working towards that goal of sonic identity is how they're framing it for their talk, and I just think, yeah, it resonates. So hopefully some folks will show up early for that. Other stuff today? Is anyone just freestyling it? Like they are gonna make it up as they go along, not gonna do any talks? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
I'm getting a tattoo. And then I'll do audio stuff, you know.
Okay, tattoos of game audio.
Yeah.
It's gonna hashtag that later.
Responsible. When in San Francisco.
Wow. Okay, that's it wasn't on my radar, but clearly I have goals for next year.
Yeah. Let's go get a tattoo day, man.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
So your SFX today is.
Oh god. Okay. Thought about it yet.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jenny, she, her, and I'm a composer and sound designer. And I have an expo pass, and if anybody else with an expo pass wants to like team up and figure out like cool things to do, that because we can't get into the really super cool audio stuff, then yeah, I don't know, I'll hang around for a little bit after, and maybe we can group up a little bit.
Cool. That's awesome. Other folks, for folks who are finding their way in, we're just kind of talking about what's happening today at GDC, what you're doing, what you're up to. And if it's your first time talking, just say your name, your pronouns, and what you get up to in the industry. And again, welcome to folks who have filtered in over time.
There's the Game Jolt showcase tonight as well, and just email RSVP. I don't know how quickly it'll fill up. They said on their blurb that they filled up in 10 minutes last year, so maybe get there early, but it's a showcase on 4th Street, just a couple blocks down from the carousel, I think underneath the highway, right there. So that's happening tonight.
Nice. Nice. Other parties? Who's got other parties? Yeah.
There's a solo game night tonight as well. That's in the, I think in the South Hall. The big kind of hall, whatever they have there.
Cool.
I'm going to go to it.
There's the Dolby Unity at the DNA Lounge, there's the Indie Carnival GDC at Game Jolt, and then the Indie Bring Your Own Game. I think the Indie Bring Your Own Game is free, so you can check the Eventbrite to see if you can still send. That should be really cool. You can play everybody's stuff.
What's that Dolby Unity thing?
Yeah.
No, wait, what was it? What was it called?
Dolby...
DNA Lounge.
Dolby...
It's free.
Yeah, Dolby...
Yeah, it's free. Just email Eventbrite first.
Yeah. Dolby Unity and DNA Lounge.
Yeah, Pablo.
Pablo Kim. Because I think statistically there's more metalheads in game dev than other kind of communities. There's also the metalhead meetup this afternoon at the carousel. Plus people who want to combo, Elvira is organizing karaoke this evening. And you might know her from Metal Hellsinger, which kind of points you towards what direction will the karaoke go. So, it's a great day to be a metalhead.
Lots of growl.
What time is the meetup?
The meetup I think is at 3 or 4. It's supposed to be outside, which means you online people going there. What are they going to do? Because weather? Okay.
There are some shelters in that area, so it could be that you just all huddle around under an overhang and it's cool, right?
And headbanging with wet hair.
It looks good.
Wow. Cool. And Elvira Bjorkman was the co-host yesterday. For folks who weren't here, it was great to have her helping to guide the conversation as well. And if you can find her on Twitter and drop her an @ you might be able to find your way to the karaoke that Two Feathers Studios is sponsoring tonight. And I think that goes from like 7 to midnight or something like that. So it's bound to be an ebb and flow. And if you can find Elvira, you can find karaoke. And despite her legacy with Metal Hellsinger, I'm queuing up some Madonna that's going to slay. I'm ready. Yeah, so morning meetup, your official party planning headquarters for GDC.
Hey there, Dan Bronstein, him. I'm an audio programmer for Embodied, but speaking of mental health singer, and to sort of call back a little bit to connecting online to wider parts of the community, if I pronounce her name wrong, please correct me, but Sheila Bigstrom of Mental Health Singer started a pretty incredible hundreds and hundreds of people Twitter thread of a whole bunch of people across our industry who weren't able to make it to GDC for one reason or another. So if you haven't seen that thread and just gotten a chance to meet a bunch of people who you wouldn't get to hear even, I do recommend checking it out. It's just a great way to get connected to even more folks.
Awesome. Thank you. I saw that thread. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm going to bounce off that for a second because one thing I would ask of folks who might be social media friendly is to try and carry your experience to the wider community out there. Folks who can't be here, would love to soak in the epiphanies that you experience during these presentations, even the insights that are being shared. If you can find a way to carry those further, this is one of the things that you can do with the privilege that you have being here. And so if there's any way you can help to carry some of those epiphanies, insights, and ideas that are being exchanged here in person to the wider community, find a hashtag, tag it, drop it, and share it with folks out there who can't be here in real time. There's a woman named Dana Plank who's a musicology professor, and she live tweets every conference she goes to, and just like an epic threads of sharing and insight. And I just live when she does that because I'm not tied into that world, but to get her perspective on it in those moments is a gift, and I'm thankful to you, Dana, for doing that when you have the time, energy, and chance. So if folks are into that, there's people out there who would love to hear about what's happening. So.
I think on that note, friends share GDC Vault access to watch live stream. I didn't say that.
It's okay. Cool. Yeah, true. Because this is, again, another privilege that we take with us under certain circumstances, and so when you can spread that, I agree. It's totally cool. Got a few more minutes. Any other insights before we embrace the Tuesday and the first day of the audio track? Someone in the back. Anything exciting? Looking forward to today?
Just starting the audio, so very excited. Yesterday we saw so much AI and web and stuff. What's the word? Insert. How do you feel about it? And, it was a little scary for me. I'm artist right now. I was thinking about music stuff that my dad would like, anybody to deal with some of that using AI stuff. Not really, but I'm really excited just to have the audio something started. And especially this art of the theme, I always love hearing like how people go about writing themes and like just the whole composition process and everything. Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
All right. Good to have you back today, Jason. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask a question real quick. So I come from freelance, I just do music and sound design stuff, and I don't really know a lot about all the roles that there are within the game audio side of the industry. I was just thinking, I don't even know what a music editor is personally, and I'm just curious, just generally, where to kind of learn more about that, because I'm definitely interested in pivoting into other stuff in the future, but I just don't even really know, what I'm saying, besides audio program, I understand basics, I don't know.
Now, I can't remember if the ISIG or the Game Audio Network Guild may have a compilation of titles and descriptions. So this is...
I think it's Game Audio Network Guild.
Okay. I've seen stuff float around, so it's worth one of them searches to uncover maybe some text on the screen. And at the same time, I find those definitions are sometimes, not entirely encompassing, and that there's questions around titles like technical sound designer versus sound designer. Well, what does that mean when games are a technical art and sound design is, of course, technical when you're working for games? But I think when we have those titles, that they accomplish two things. They allow for an access point into the conversation about what people really mean. And kind of at the end of the day, it's like a human resources requisition number, right? That just really needs to like fulfill some kind of spreadsheet cell for a human being, right? And so I think there's a lot of negotiation in there around it. So explore that in real time and on the screen when you can.
They're also not standardized, at least that I've seen in my experience with indie and AAA. And even when I've applied for like an audio producer role, like I just ask them, what does this role mean to you? Because it won't be the same from this or that studio. So, and I'm happy to explain if anybody has questions about music editing or producing as well. So.
Yeah, Dave.
Has anyone been using the Informa app to schedule their events? Because it's pretty useful. But it's working. Because right now I can't schedule it, which is kind of annoying. But it is pretty useful because it gives out all the stuff. So I guess it's more of a tip slash. I guess more of a tip. If you haven't been using it, it's really useful, and it tells where the room is, tells who's speaking, tells what the event is about. So, and you can make your own personal schedule, so you can see what it is coming up. I don't know if it sends reminders or not, but it is at least useful to kind of get a roadmap of like help you plan out like, okay, I'm going to do this, and this. So yeah.
Cool, thanks.
To bounce off of that, it's also really good for sorting out conflicts, scheduling conflicts. I think there was a point where I just sort of went down the list. I was like, I want to go to all these talks, and then I put it in my calendar, and it's like 5 of those are happening at the same time. So, yeah, it's great for that.
I think you can schedule meetings with people on there also. I saw on mine, it was like, you have free meetings all these times. I'm like, oh, I can actually have meetings and stuff. So I guess you can, message people and try to, meet your people, I guess.
Cool.
Another thing on that is you can filter by what apps is able to go to talks, and you can just see talks that you're about to go to. I'm an Expo Pass person, so it's been really helpful for me to just know that there's a lot that I want to go to the first 2 days, and that's okay. And I can kind of plan my day around.
Great. So we're at the end because things are starting soon. 9:30, the Audio Summit kicks off. I'm going to tie this up with a bow and just say thanks to the folks who donated to help make the live streaming of this event possible. I appreciate that support for renting the equipment. Thanks out there for that. Thanks to everyone here. It's so cool. This was a thing that catalyzed years and years ago around a table at a coffee house with just a few folks. And it has grown to be something that really gives me life, energy, and heart here at GDC. So thanks for showing up early in the morning and participating, sharing your experience and your voice, and for being part of the community here at GDC. So thanks, Larissa, for being a co-host. Okay, and have a great day. We'll see you later.